Welcome back to the Naval News segment. Today we're going to begin the stories with the WarZone. This one comes to us from Joseph Thervik. He says, this missile appears to be very similar to a mysterious short-range type that Kim Jong-un recently showed off at the arms showcase in Pyongyang. And he's talking about this new short-range submarine-launched ballistic missile that North Korea just tested. They've been doing a lot of missile launches this year. Their program has come a long way, and supposedly they're not receiving a lot of outside help. But they seem to have plenty of money and the ability to engineer these rockets. And they're working. That's the important thing to take away from this, is that these rockets are not, falling apart in mid-flight like they used to. They're actually traveling the distance that they're designed to go and, plunge back into the sea or wherever. All right, but let's read what Joseph has to say from the piece. North Korea says its test of the new submarine-launched ballistic missile, SLBM, which it claims has significant maneuvering capability. The existence of the weapon in question, which is significantly smaller than the previous North Korean SLBM designs, looks to be one that was only publicly disclosed at an exhibition in Pyongyang last week. We covered that here on the Naval News last week as well. If you want, you can go back and watch that and see exactly what missile we're talking about. That weapon had already drawn considerable interest after that event, with there being some debate over whether or not it was an old but previously unseen design or a new one that is about to be tested. Well, either way, they just tested it and it worked. The launch occurred on October 19th, 2021, took place near the main submarine hub of Sinpo, the country's eastern coast. South Korea media reports said the missile reportedly flew 430 to 450 kilometers, or about 280 miles, reaching an apogee of 60 kilometers, or about 37 miles. So a medium-range missile. Before landing in the EC, South Korean officials had earlier said that they believed that the missile had involved in a submarine-launched ballistic missile, while their American counterparts had stated that they were aware of the launch, but declined to say what type of missile might have been fired. So we were able to monitor and track this launch with our picket ship that's out there watching for ballistic missiles coming towards Japan or South Korea. And that picket ship, like one of its missions is, if there is a ballistic missile launch that will land, the parabolic landing zone will be in, say, mainland Japan, it'll shoot it down. And we just keep that ship there all the time. Obviously, it's not the same ship, right? We rotate the ships around, but we always have a ship in the Sea of Japan looking at North Korea, watching these with its Aegis-style radar. It's usually an Arleigh Burke. Here's a picture. Can I zoom in on that? Look at this. Okay, so this is not a high-resolution photo by any stretch, but this gives you an idea of the missile we're talking about. These missiles next to it, these are submarine-launched ballistic missiles. The one on the far left is very long range, by the way. They can hit like Alaska and some parts of Seattle with this missile without going very far from the coast. But this one's interesting because it doesn't look like the other missiles. It's got a cone-shaped nose, for instance, significantly smaller. But yeah, it's definitely submarine launch because we've seen it now. Let's finish reading the piece and then we'll talk about how it works. It's really cool how this missile works. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea Defense Science Institute conducted a test launch of a new submarine-launched ballistic missile on the 19th, according to an official announcement from about the test from North Korea's state media. With the pride and honor of successfully launching the first submarine-launched strategic ballistic missile 5 years ago and successfully launching a new type of submarine-launched ballistic missile in the Hero ship August 24. Maybe that's the name of the submarine? Hero ship August 24, which demonstrated the military strength of the Republic. It is proud of its loyal party central committee said to have reported. Wow. Talk about propaganda. That's craziness right there. All right. Here's a couple tweets from Davis Schumer. All right. I want to get down to the trajectory. How this missile works is really cool, so I want to get to that part. It's not entirely clear how the missile in question was tested. North Korean state media released a picture of the country's lone Gore-class submarine, which has said to have been used for the SLBM test, surfacing alongside pictures as yet unnamed weaponry apparently being launched from underwater. The photograph of the submarine appears to show its launch hatch and its sail open, which is really strange. I saw that too. Let's go back to the top. Do you see this hatch right here? This should be shut. So they might have some kind of mechanical failure or something, but you definitely don't want that to be open, even after a launch. So I don't know what's going on with that. Oh my God, are they not going to talk about? Oh, here it is. Okay, let's skip to this part. This is what makes this missile unique. The North Koreans did not provide any additional details or imagery of this, that to substantiate the claims about the missile's performance. The mention of a glide jump maneuver sounds likely to refer to what are often described as skip glide maneuvers, wherein the entire weapon or a separate reentry vehicle brakes by tipping its nose up, creating an irregular step-down trajectory during terminal phase of the flight. So this is something the United States and Russia do already, but look what North Korea can do now. Is after the ballistic launch and it's on, it's on its parabolic arc, at that moment it can be calculated where the missile is going to be in the future. But as soon as it begins re-entry, it does a bunch of these nose-up maneuvers, giving it this irregular sinusoidal step in how it approaches the target. This means that you cannot calculate an impact point accurately ahead of time because it's constantly doing these at irregular intervals, and it's called skip gliding. They've demonstrated the ability to do this, which is that's a big accomplishment. You got to give it to them. This is North Korea, folks. They've made immense progress in the past 5 years. They're doing things that the United States and Russia do. So they've got to be getting help from somebody. I wonder if there's another spy ring out there helping them out. Or maybe we're underestimating them. Maybe they're doing this on their own with their own engineers. I don't know. Okay. A maneuvering re-entry vehicle of some kind that detaches from the rest of the missile in flight might help explain Prime Minister Kishidai's statement that Japanese authorities had detected 2 missiles rather than 1. Yeah, because it separated a glide vehicle that skipped along the atmosphere. That's why they had two detections. Okay, otherwise this test would seem to confirm its initial analysis that the missile has a relatively short range. In fact, the official North Korean state media release does not appear to describe this weapon as strategic. Raises the possibility that it could be conventionally armed, so it's perhaps not nuclear, and at least have some option of carrying non-nuclear warhead. A conventionally armed SLBM, just like the one the South Koreans had recently tested, would be valuable for striking hardened and high-value targets. Yeah, just because the kinetic energy alone, it really wouldn't need a warhead, even though it may have one. But you start coming in out of space like a meteor, you're going to have enough energy when you hit the ground that's going to destroy whatever the hell it hits. This is a picture of the Gore. This has been photoshopped. Okay, that's why it looks kind of weird, especially like right here. But this is it in dry dock. This is where they took a Romeo-class submarine from like the 60s that they've had for years, that Russia sold them way back during the Cold War, and they turned this into a ballistic missile submarine. It is diesel-powered. It's conventional, but they extended the sail, which is why you have this blurry part right here. This is all new. Like the sail should come to right here. But they extended it and they put missile tubes in it, ballistic missile tubes. Anyway, as the WarZone already noted, when the missile first emerged publicly last week, its small size could allow for smaller North Korean submarines to be converted to fire it. It could offer larger North Korean types, such as the Gore boat or a Romeo-class diesel attack submarine that is being converted into the type capable of firing ballistic missiles, the ability to carry more of the weapons. Because right now, the Gore, we believe, and I don't think this is confirmed yet, it has 3 ballistic missile tubes. Well, if they can shoot a smaller missile, they could rip out those 3 big tubes and put in 4 or 5 smaller tubes. Make it almost like an SSGN, which would be much more useful, assuming that nuclear war doesn't happen. Oh, there's a video. Oh, okay. Let's watch it. We're going to watch this happen. Holy shit. Here we go. Sound? Oh, here we go. Hold your breath. Oh man, I miss doing this. All right, so that's the snorkel mast, and that's the periscope. No, periscope. Yep. Oh, it's going down. He's either submerging or lowering the scope. Okay, pause. This is so important. Okay, so when the gas generator ignites at the bottom of the missile, it creates an overpressure in the tube. This watertight seal is a very thin type of fiberglass that has score marks in it where it's designed to rip apart evenly as the gas generator fills the tube that's submerged with gas. Usually it's like a nitrogen, like an inert gas, right? And that gas is going to push the ballistic missile, or whatever this is, I'm going to call it a ballistic missile, up to the surface, and you'll see it surrounded by bubbles. All right, watch this. Let's go. All right, do you see all the little bubbles? Yeah, it's from the gas generator. And the gas generator is still going, still going, still going. All right, there it is. It pushed it all the way out. Now the rocket motor started. Okay, damn it, pause. Oh, it happened so fast. Am I in the way? Okay, let's wait for this red line to go away. Look at the missile coming out of the water. The rocket motor hasn't ignited yet. So what's going to happen is that gas generator is still pushing the rocket up. And as soon as it begins to like lose its inertia in an upward motion, you'll see the motor ignite. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Right there. Damn it. Right there. Okay. So here we have this splash, if you want to call it that, is actually a lot of gas too, just pushing it out. And the missile is detecting, okay, I'm no longer going as fast as I used to be going up. Now I'm going to ignite the rocket motor. There's a little sensor in the top of the missile that triggers the rocket motor to ignite. And there it goes. And that's a good clean burn, dude. It's so important to get the mix right. And the missile obviously could have exploded right there. Is that it? All right. Oh, man. It's definitely got a gyro stabilize. Man, that's advanced. These guys, I mean, whether they got help or not, does not matter. North Korea is a serious strategic threat. You don't want to mess with these guys because they can launch these missiles reliably. That was good. Okay. Going back to the piece, Joseph writes, this latest North Korean SLBM launch also comes after Sung Kim, U.S. Special Envoy to North Korea, met with his South Korean counterpart, No Koo-duk, in Washington, D.C. Kim is due to travel to South Korea later this week, where he is expected to talk further to the officials about the potential ways to restart talks with the regime in Pyongyang. Yeah, they have no interest in talking to us because they're doing these tests despite the sanctions. Let's see, quote, the United States condemns the DPRK's ballistic missile launch. These launches are a violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions that are a threat to the region. So this goes back to them having or desire to have nuclear weapons and nuclear power. You know, the UN has decided that North Korea shall not have nuclear weapons. And North Korea has basically given the finger to everybody over the past 70 years and said, hey, we're doing it anyway, boys, you know, and anyway, back to the piece. He says, we call on the DPRK to refrain from further provocating and engaging in sustained substantial dialogue. Our commitment to the defense of the Republic of Korea and Japan remains ironclad. Okay, that's good. We're reaffirming. Oh, and there's an update here. Here's some high resolution images. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. Well, it's better resolution, I suppose. Here you can see the gas generator came out of the water with it. I bet you the gas generator is attached to the bottom of the rocket and comes out with the rocket. Okay. And then it separates when the rocket motor ignites. The rocket motor looks like it literally blows the whatever platform gas generator thing off of it, and it falls to pieces right here. That's the gas generator fins falling apart. But look how it looks like it has like stabilizer fins on the gas generator thing. And then, yeah, this poisonous gas here, you don't want to be breathing that. And then there it is here with that hatch open. I'm telling you, man, that's not supposed to be like that. Something's messed up on the submarine, but the rocket performed as expected. So good for them. Well, bad for everybody else, but good for North Korea, I guess. Back to the piece. It wraps up with North Korean officials have recently shown some interest in the talks, at least superficially engaging regarding humanitarian aid and potential sanction relief. At the same time, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made it clear at the Arms Expo last week that his regime sees its continued arms buildup and testing that goes with it, such as this latest SLBM launch, as its fundamental right in the face of what he said South Korea and American aggression. Yeah. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, This is a very interesting profile for the reentry vehicle. Like, they've demonstrated a lot of new technologies. This medium range submarine launch ballistic missile, because it starts ballistic. So it is ballistic at some point. I'm pretty impressed. I think that they've come a long way in 5 years. What do you guys think? It looks like they took a ground-based rocket. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about rockets, to be honest with you. I'll bet the sub is so loud. Yeah, that's true. I bet you the sub is not quiet. But the point is, it doesn't really need to go very far to do its job. It just needs to submerge. And it can submerge in the freaking bay that it's ported in, you know. You think they had help from China? Yeah. Someone's helping them, for sure. The most likely culprit is China, and there may be another spy ring out there that we need to bust. But they are not doing this alone, in my opinion. Let's see. P. Pistol B's here. He says, is it possible that the tube doesn't close, that they had a massive leak? Yeah. Well, I mean, so on the inside of that tube, there's access hatches that they use in port to do maintenance on the missile and stuff. I'm sure those would be shut, of course. There's no reason to ever open them after the maintenance is done. Ninja Cheeto says, I missed the part of this. What type of sub is that? This, we think, we're not sure, to be honest with you, because all we have is this photo here. But we think it's the new Gore class, which is the converted Romeo, which is this one. Right there. We think it's that one. Let's see if there's any more information here in the tweets about what kind of submarine it was. Yeah, no one's going to guess, because if you guess wrong, people in the future will hold it against you. Yeah. Which is pretty sad. Anyway, yeah, there it is, folks. North Korean medium range ballistic missile that has a skip glide re-entry vehicle. This is the new hotness, because you cannot shoot this down. It's very difficult to shoot this down. So,